Hey everybody, it's me, Edward Jones, back with a new video. Water in the Cultural Wine. I just got done watching a video by Seller559 called The Death of Our Culture. And which he talked about, he had a conversation with a gentleman who was Japanese descent, but he lived in the U.S. All his life. And he was talking to him and saying that you're not going to recognize California in next 10 to 20 years. And it's because he's talking about the different cultures that different people that come here from different places, many people that come here from different places. And the word that he used is a word that I've heard many years ago, and it's a very good word. It's called assimilation. And the issue is that there are people who come from different areas, and the new area that they live in, they don't assimilate to the culture, to the new the culture that's there. Now, I'll take myself for example. As I said before, I'm from Brooklyn. I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. When I was 12, I moved to Manning, South Carolina, to live with my grandparents. And I would say you can just look at my videos and look at me right now. You can tell I assimilated pretty well to Southern culture. Even where I even had videos recently up about during the whole debacle with the Confederate flag, in South Carolina, and I actually supported staying up, and that's because I learned just learning about history, um, and learning about the culture that's here already. It doesn't seem like it was something that should change. Now, when you move into a new area, it makes sense that you would assimilate to whatever place you moved. I mean, I'm pretty sure the reason why you moved from A to B because A was not as good as not to your likings, and you would believe B was a better option. Um, and when you're moving to B, then it makes sense to assimilate. That's social. I would say that's positive social behavior, where you mingle with the people that you're new people that you're around. You get to know more about them. You find out what the local flavor is, and if it's something you can get into, you stick around, and you start to take it on. If it's something that you can't get into, then it makes more sense to just move somewhere else, or make a plan to move somewhere that's more to your liking. When I was growing up in school, I've heard the U.S. United States referred to as a melting pot. When I hear melting pot, I think of a nice, delicious beef stew. In part because I like beef stew, and because it makes sense that with a beef stew, you throw in all these separate ingredients, but as soon as you get everything, cooked in cooked at a nice temperature and cooked slow, you have a very tasty meal. And what it is a combination of different things that come together, and it turns into something that's palatable, that's something that's delicious. Or as I using the title of this video, wine. You think of wine, it's something that's bold, it's rich. I'm thinking of red wine when I say this. I think of something that's bold and rich, it's savory, has lots of flavor. Um, it's kind of like liberty in a sense. Once you get some, it's intoxicating, and you want more of it. Or I could think of the same thing for beef stew. Maybe I'm just hungry. I use a lot of food analogies in my videos. Um, but yeah, the U.S. was always called the melting pot because people coming here from different backgrounds, from different cultures, and they came here to because they believed in the American dream. They believe in and what are the tenements? And not really the tenements of the American dream, but they came here looking for liberty. And historically speaking, liberty is best maintained when you have a foundation that is that is set from um, what's the term I want to use? Basically, a strong moral fiber and virtue, religious moral fiber and virtue. And with those things, you can maintain liberty, because it's really the appetites that we have in ourselves that screw liberty up for ourselves and for everyone else. So if we have these things to keep ourselves in check, which the state cannot, which the state should never try to force onto anybody, which it's impossible to do it on its own. If you have those things within you, and if it's part of that culture, then if you want to stay free, then you would take on that culture. You take on the tenements of that culture. Whether you moved here from Egypt or Italy, let's say right off the boat, Germany, Russia, Africa, wherever you can't, you come here, Canada, Mexico. You come here because you believe that there's a better chance of believe there's a better chance of having a better life on this earth, and so people come here to the U.S., to these United States, and there was always that culture of hard work, independent thought, strong backbone, individuality. Well, also with strong community. You watch each other's back. You were very mindful of those who wanted to tell you what to do, and even that's still. I'm happy to see that's still alive. That hasn't gone away. It hasn't gone away. That's still here. That's still part of this culture. But you can't. You do. I believe we all have a sense that the culture is being watered down. Um, it's turning from a melting pot to a salad, to where you can see all the individual bits and pieces and all different types of elements within the salad, but it doesn't. But nothing actually comes together to form this great bold taste that's very filling. Instead, you had a salad, and you can take out tomatoes or carrots or croutons or whatever you want, and it doesn't. And but the thing is, it doesn't. It makes a recipe that doesn't maintain what the American culture, what it was meant to support, which is liberty. Um, I believe multiculturalism is a problem. I am against it. I am against multiculturalism, in the sense that if it's something that's not to say that it's contrary to the current culture, but well, I will phrase it like this: if it's a type of culture that puts liberty in jeopardy to obtain something else, um, something trivial, something frivolous, something that's fake, fugazi, then that's something that needs to be kept in check. That's something that needs to be watched. And the best way to actually counter that is to show that the culture that you have right now is stronger than anything else. It's like being a salesman in the sense you're selling your. Well, I guess liberty is not something. Well, I don't know. In the sense liberty has to be sold to some people because a lot of people they do favor stability and safety because and trust me, you're not guaranteed any of those things if you're living in liberty. It's not going to happen. You can have there's always stuff shifting and changing, not much stability, there are always things that can go wrong, not much safety, but you are free, you are empowered to adjust to those changes and to maintain your liberty. And I believe the American culture had that, and maybe in its past. And I guess I could be thinking of something that's I guess I never really experienced. But I say for my own personal life, one thing I learned is I don't like being told that I'm a victim. That's why a lot of the movements that go on nowadays pushed by people who think that pushed by well-meaning people who think they know what's best for certain groups. They think that telling someone that they're a victim and that they need help from someone else is going to make things better, which it doesn't. It actually just creates cultural stagnation, and it waters down what actually supports liberty. Telling people that they're victims and telling them that they need someone else's help constantly is going to water down the culture that actually supports liberty. Instead, a culture of dependence, apathy, hedonism. What else can I think of? Aggression, things like that are actually bred out of this, going against the culture that actually supports liberty. I believe American culture stood for that. And I think in some senses it still does stand for that. I mean, if that wasn't the case, I wouldn't be sitting here making this video. There wouldn't be much of a free flow of ideas on the matter. and I wouldn't be able to talk about this kind of stuff with other people, whether it be via YouTube or face to face on the street. But I believe American culture is not. I don't think it's dead. I don't think. I don't think it's. I don't think it's. It may be now. It's taking a lot of hits, and I believe we have the compromises of past generations to thank for that. Um, the political correctness run amok. The thought that a person who brings a pocket knife to school is automatically a public enemy number one. Things like that. Those are things actually that water down the culture, because that way of thinking, that way of conducting yourself does not support liberty. It puts liberty in jeopardy, and it gets people scared, and it tugs on their heartstrings to thinking that they need to severely control certain aspects of another person's life so that they feel safe. When in a sense, instead of putting chains on someone else, they're putting chains on themselves. And like I said, it creates a culture that supports that kind of behavior, and it's contrary to liberty. Um, so I think that American culture is taking a lot of hits, but I believe it can come back. It has to. First, I believe we have to rediscover our liberty. Does not you have to have to understand that liberty does not come from uh, it doesn't come from the state. It didn't even come from the Constitution. The Constitution is just a framework of government. It was endowed by, it was given to us by our Creator, by God, I'm going to say is by God, and it can't be taken from anybody, from any man. No man can take away anything that God gave you. Only He can do that. Now, the various means that He used, so for discussion. But in the end, man cannot take away your rights. And it's up to you to defend and uphold your rights, and also support the rights of others, even if you don't necessarily agree with what they say or how they look, things like that. Understand that you're all in the same fight. You're all in this melting pot, and there's always someone in jeopardy of kicking over that pot of delicious stew and putting a crappy salad bowl in front of you. Um, these food analogies. But essentially, we can come back. Religious morality and virtue. Those things. If a culture has those things and runs with it, gets momentum going, liberty will be found down the road. It's not easy. It takes work, but it can be done. And I believe that it can. I believe our culture can still make a comeback. We just have to recognize what's the elements that actually are watering down the American culture, which is supposed to support individual liberty, and a sense of community, also a sense of community with one another, even with the state, even with the individual states. But that's my video. Please tell me what you think. Do you think that I'm just rambling along? I think there's some points that can be made about the argument I just put forth. I will put Seller 559's video. Check out his channel. He has a lot of good videos. The golf one was actually was really funny. But I'll put a link to that video in the description box. And then grab some complaints, send me a PM. I'll see what I can do to address any concerns. If you're new to my channel, I say welcome. Please check out my older videos, especially if you have a thing for shotguns. Check out some of my older videos, my takedown videos, and please look forward to new videos to come. That's my video. Water in the Cultural Wine. I'm Edward Jones, and thanks for watching.